advent of mass production, and the modern automobile and airline industries were born. The U.S. financial system was thriving without the legal sale of alcohol. But the 18th Amendment had actually done little to curb the sale and consumption of liquor. It was simply transported and sold illegally. It was done with a wink and a nod among many Americans. The Volstead Act, formerly named the National Prohibition Act, was a law that became effective on January 17, 1920, to provide enforcement for the 18th Amendment. It created a special enforcement unit of the Treasury Department, Bureau of Prohibition, and formally began Prohibition. For the wealthier, more powerful, or simply connected individuals among American society, drinking came easy. It almost turned into a game of enjoying smuggled alcohol and visiting speakeasies. And another interesting side effect of Prohibition, increasingly strong distilled spirits surged in popularity. The appeal of beer and wine was diminished. Distilled spirits were more profitable to produce, cheaper to transport, and easier to smuggle into the country. Despite policing efforts of the Treasury Department and other law enforcement agencies, organized crime reaped the real benefits of the illegal alcohol trade. Organized crime flourished. Organized crime became more organized. With America enjoying good fortune in the 20s, many people weren't concerned with crime, especially crime involving alcohol. Gangsters often became glorified celebrities. Everything was fine until the economy suddenly and violently came crashing down. America's Great Depression began with the Black Thursday stock market crash of October 24, 1929. The Great Depression happened for a host of reasons. The stock market crash followed a period of gross overconfidence and overproduction of goods. A panic in the stock market sparked a panic at the banks. A weak banking system allowed banks to fail and close. Bankruptcies and job losses snowballed. While the United States was navigating through the Depression, the federal government desperately needed revenue if it were to help set the economy on a correct path and put jobless Americans back to work. Federal income taxes had only been created a few years earlier with the 16th Amendment of 1913. It was a major shift in the federal government's revenue system. Prior to creation of the income tax, alcohol taxes had generated as much as 40% of the federal government budget. With Prohibition, the government had quickly become incredibly dependent on income tax as its primary revenue source. The Depression changed that. Incomes suffered and income taxes suffered. Income tax revenue dropped 60% from 1930 to 1933. The legalization and taxation of alcoholic beverages was an easy target. In the 1932 presidential election, the governor of New York, Democrat Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR, campaigned against the financial failures of President Herbert Hoover's administration. The repeal of Prohibition was an important part of Roosevelt's Democratic Party platform. He easily defeated the incumbent Hoover in a landslide victory on Tuesday, November 8, 1932. Just 3 months later, in February of 1933, Congress would propose the 21st Amendment to repeal Prohibition. The end of Prohibition was a major financial victory for the federal government. Millions of dollars collected in alcohol taxes helped to finance President Roosevelt's New Deal programs in the years that followed. Alcohol helped to financially heal the country as it slowly recovered from the worldwide economic crisis, the most severe in the history of the industrialized world. Any long-term investor putting money in a diversified group of alcohol stocks near the end of Prohibition would do very, very well. The performance numbers from 1933 or anywhere around that time up to the present day are rather remarkable. Time to buy. Using U.S. publicly traded stock price data from the well-known and publicly available CRSP, or Center for Research and Security Prices library of Dr. Kenneth French, Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College, we looked at the exchange-listed securities of the U.S. stock market broken down into 30 industry portfolios. Among a myriad of available data points for stock prices and dividends going